Good afternoon. I hope everybody's having a good day. Um, the last video I did was on changes, and this one is about um, looking to God for guidance during those changes. Um, Lots of times, changes happen and we don't even realize it. Uh, we may not change with what is going on, and other times we do realize it and we do change with what's going on. And um, productively, if we change on our own, it's not going to be as high or beneficial or positive as if we seek guidance from God. Uh, Sometimes changes around us or in people we love uh, affect the changes we make in our life. And seeking guidance from God, He can help us to make a more appropriate or a more positive or more beneficial uh, change. He can help us to understand that these changes are necessary, or if we decide to not change with the circumstances or with whatever is thrown at us, changing around us, that can be sometimes hard to function in the situation. When circumstances change and we're caught off guard, or when they change and we just have absolutely no idea how to handle them or what to do, or which direction to look in, God will guide us through that. God, if we call on Him, will show us the direction to turn. He'll show us what's going on. He'll show us how to handle each situation. And we may need to call on Him several times in one day because the situation may change back and forth so many times. I know from one day to the next, you can have the same situation pop up three different times. The changes can bounce back and forth three or four or five different times. Each time we handle those changes with changes in ourselves is a separate time that we may need to call on God to help us guide, to guide us and help us through each one of those changes, because even though the situation it's the same kind of change, just our outlook for the day, or how productive we've been to the day for the day, um, what we're in the middle of doing at the time can all change. Each one of these changes, we need guidance through, we need help through. We need to know which way to go, what way to turn, where to call on, or when to call on God. And for me, that's calling on Him every time I make a move on some days. Every day is different. Every change, though it may be the same change as before, it can have a different outcome. It can change the way the mind thinks. It can change the end results of the circumstances it's caused. Uh, Calling on God to guide us through them helps us stay more consistent with getting a positive outcome. God shows us step by step, if we need the directions by each breath, what to do, how to move forward. God will give us that knowledge. He will guide us through that. He will show us when to turn, when to move forward, what to do when we're moving forward. We just have to ask for His guidance. We have to ask for His help. We have to ask for His leadership. We have to be open to what He shows us. We have to understand that if we follow God's lead, if we do what He is showing us we need to do, if we have faith and trust in Him that doing these things will be the right things to do, then we will be more productive. We will have a better end result. And that's not only with change, but that can be applied to everything we do in life. If we start a new project, or if we uh, talk to somebody about a business deal, or anything, it could just apply in life anywhere it fits in well. The the fact that change is quite often the most notable things in our life that we need help with is the most important time to know to ask for help. When we take things for granted, when we figure we got it all figured out, when we think we know what we're doing, that's when we find out God could have showed us a better way. And we have to trust that when we turn things over to God, when we ask for His help and His guidance, when we ask for Him to show us what we need to do, how we need to do it, when we need to do it, these things are much more productive. They have a much higher ability of accomplishing whatever goal we're set out to do, to accomplish. It's by God's grace and mercy that we're able to move forward without causing a lot of pain and destruction and chaos. If we don't call on Him for His grace and mercy, if we don't call on Him for His support and His leadership, for His guidance, what happens to that grace and mercy? What happens to that support that we didn't ask for? Where does it go? What happens to the leadership and the knowledge, and just being shown what is positive and what is not? I know there's been so much difference just in my life, as an example, over the last 2 years. Uh, Sometimes it's just hard to understand how all that change happened, but I realize um, that God has got me through it, and because I have come to Him and asked Him for help, I've asked Him for guidance, I've asked Him for comfort and strength and peace. I've asked Him for healing for other people. I've asked Him, you know, just to be there for me, to be my Lord and Savior. And He has fulfilled each and every one of those things I've asked of Him. And anything else I ask of Him that, positive, happy, good, anything, I know that as long as I come to Him with a good and honest heart and a loving heart, He'll answer that. I just have to have faith in Him. And if I have faith in Him, I have faith in His way of life and what He believes is right and wrong, and I have faith in His way being the way that I will be able to accomplish the changes I need to make when there's changes around me and there's changes in people that are in my life. Uh, I know the last video was a bit long. I think this one I'm going to make a bit shorter. Just know that when change is around you and it's time for you to make some changes, just always know that God is there. Call on Him. He'll help you. He'll get you through it. He'll show you which way to move. He'll show you which way to turn, how, when, all that. God will be there for you if you call on Him and let Him. Y'all have a good day. Bye.